Yes, hello and welcome to the BFL Footy Show, proudly supported by McDonald's Ballarat and also Ballarat Toyota. Shawnee, mate, first of all, thanks for having me back this week.
No, we thought that we were going to ease you in through the reserves, mate, but we thought, no, you've got to get the key players in the key positions in the big games. So here you are, back in the host chair, mate.
Thanks,
it was
mate.
comfortable last week, I must admit.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was getting quite used to it.
Didn't watch the show last week, mate.
Probably good for you, really, because
I heard I've got a bit of a baking, mate.
A couple of backhanders went your way.
Yeah, we'll move straight into the footy action, mate.
Let's
from last
do that.
Weekend. Ballarat 10-10-70, defeated Melton South 6-6-42. For Ballarat, Joe Otto kicked 5 goals, 2 goals to Chris Thornton. For Melton South, 3 goals to Matthew Sutton. Better players for Ballarat, Joe Otto, Luke Brennan, Chris Thornton and Lachlan Cassidy. Better players for Melton South, Matthew Sullivan, Ben Peters and Dion Lawson. So a win that Ballarat needed to have, Shawnee. Looks as though they'll finish in 6th position now. They just need to try and find some good form leading to the finals.
Oh, yeah, that's right, mate. They're obviously 2 games clear, plus percentage with 2 games to go now, so you'd think the door is shut and locked. Key not quite thrown away yet, but just about there. But good game by Ballarat in pretty heavy conditions up at Alfredton last week as well. They got the job done. As you need to do on a wet day, you strike while the iron's hot, get in early and get the job done. They did that with 7 of their 10 goals in the first half.
Very good, mate. Darley took on East Point on the weekend. This is a really cracking game. I think leading into the game, we all knew it was going to be match of the round. At half-time, Darley led by 5 goals. And East Point's second half was fantastic.
It was.
They ended up running away, I think about 28-point winners or 21-point winners. So East Point 17-16, 118 defeated Darley 13-10, 88. For East Point, Dan Jordan 6 goals, Hayden Walters 5, Chris Carson 2, along with Brent Fitzpatrick. For Darley, Jake Edwards kicked 3 goals, 2 goals each to Darren Leonard and Shane Page and Reece Ellis. For East Point, Brad Whittaker, Hayden Walters and Nick Holland with better players. Better players for Darley, Tate Stone, Sean Deckett and Reece Ellis. We should mention Dan Jordan's 100 goals.
Yep. You can see it up on the screen at the moment. The moment where he's kicked 100.
I think to kick 100 goals in any type of footy, whether it be senior footy, reserves footy, underage footy, is a great effort. And I think his form this year has been as good as it's been, throughout his career so far.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of injury-prone years the last couple of years, but it's good to see him back at we think full fitness. And still with with obviously a round to go and finals, he might kick in excess of 120 goals for the year, which would be a super effort. So well done to Dan on a great feat, and certainly the BFL is very proud of his efforts.
Oh, we certainly are. But look, this was a fantastic game, and the third quarter by East Point was what set them up. 10 goal to 3 third quarter. Hayden Walters kicked 5 of the 10 goals in that quarter, and we've seen a few of them on the screen at the moment. He absolutely dominated that quarter to bring his side back into the game and really give East Point a really good shot at third spot now.
Shawnee, I think that East Point over the last couple of weeks have shown that they are a genuine premiership contender.
Correct.
I think previous to playing North City, they haven't been able to have a big scalp in terms of a win this year, but to beat North City and Darley in the space of a couple of weeks shows that they are the real deal. And you never know, come finals time, they might get the job done, and all of a sudden they could make it through to a grand final.
And it was a big confidence booster as well, because if things don't work out for East Point in their quest for third spot and they finish 4th, guess who they play in the first week of the finals?
Darley.
That they've beaten twice this year now, including once on their own deck. We know how much of a confidence team East Point are, and they're going to take a lot away from this last fortnight.
Very good, Shawnee. North City took on Melton the weekend. North City 17-12, 114, defeated Melton 7-6, 48. For North City, Derek Micallef kicked 5 goals, 3 goals to Mark Greig, 2 goals each to Sean Lyle, Sam Bromley Lynch and Simon McCartan. For Melton, Chris Webber kicked 2 goals. The better players for North City, Brendan Howard, Mark Greig, Hayden George and Jason McNamara. Better players for Melton, Ryan Davis, Darren Havey and Jake Gleeson. So the North City winning train just keeps rolling on, mate.
Yeah, it does indeed. Obviously, that train hit a bit of a hurdle last week, but back and truly going this week. A good win, a clinical win for North City. They got some good key contributions from their good players. Having Mark Greig back in that side, it's understated how much he brings back in with his experience, his goal-kicking ability. He obviously wasn't there against East Point in the game they lost. Came back in last week and straightens them up a bit. It takes somebody away from Derek Micallef as well, who now has 49 goals on the season, which is a pretty good effort as well for a small forward.
No doubt, great effort. Mate, Redan took on Lake Wendouree on the weekend. Redan 15-16, 106, defeated Lake Wendouree 5-3-33. Interestingly, at half-time, the scores were Redan 4-11 to Lake Wendouree 4-2. So, after half-time, Redan's really dominated this game, mate. The goal kickers for Redan, Mitch Phelps kicked 4 goals, 3 goals to Dean Chester, 2 goals to Daniel Colbert. For Lake Wendouree, Ben Hayes kicked 2 goals. Better players for Redan, Mitchell Phelps, Matt Karras and Ryan Wade. Better players for Lake Wendouree, Sam Clifton, Matthew Timonello and Isaac Kirby. So, good win there for Redan. You think that they'll finish in third position?
Yeah, you would, maybe even second, depending on what happens this week. What that game did do for them is it really boosted their percentage, as we'll have a look at in a minute, to the fact where they're only 2.5 percentage points behind Sunbury now. They beat Sunbury this week, obviously draw level on points. They're a big chance to get that percentage to go ahead of Sunbury, who then play North City in the last game. Redan play Melton. Second spot's right open for the Lions now.
It is, mate, and I think that I'll
make a prediction. The Lions will finish in second spot.
Yeah, I just think that...
Which Lions? I'm not sure yet, but it'll definitely be the Lions.
I mean, really, is there much difference between third and second and third? I mean, I reckon third's a pretty good spot to finish.
It is. I suppose the only difference is that if you lose in the first week of the finals, finishing second, you still play. If you lose in the first week of the finals, finishing third, Mad Monday.
The double chance is very important. Finish second and get the double chance. But if you finish third and you can win, give yourself...
finish third and you can win, you get that double chance
yourself into a second semi. Mate, the Republic Clothing Player of the Week goes to a player that I think has been in pretty good form all year for Redan. He's a player that's, I suppose, played a little bit more through the midfield this year, but also obviously kicked a few goals as well. That goes to Mitch Phelps from Redan. Yeah,
he's been in fantastic form this year. He was in the under-19 training squad for the state squad this year as well, and obviously played some really good footy this year and last year in the Redan senior side, and will be one of those keys to Redan's premiership push, I reckon.
Yeah, mate, just touching the ladder briefly, the BFL senior football ladder. We've got North City on top on 60 points, Sunbury in second on 56, Redan in third on 52. East Point, you'd think they'll finish in fourth because they're still 4 points behind Redan in third, plus they're about 15%. So you wouldn't think they'd make up 15% in one round. In 50s, Darley on 44 points. Ballarat in 6th on 36. Then we've got outside the 60s, Melton South, Bacchus Marsh, Lake Wendouree, Melton and Sebastian. So Ballarat will finish in 6th position. You think that East Point will play Darley, 4th and 5th. Just a matter of whether Redan or Sunbury will finish in second position. So
yeah, that's right. I think you might be pretty well right there. So that's a pretty good outcome. We could go into the last round of the season where, interestingly, things are all locked up for the top six.
Shawnee, the mark of the week this week, mate. Another pretty good grab from Dan Jordan.
No, Luke Brennan this week from Ballarat. DJ has taken his share this year, but Luke Brennan, of course, is a serial offender in this category.
He's had a knack of taking a few big grabs, Luke, since he's been in the comp over the last couple of years. So this weekend's another big one. I think it's right on the wing somewhere.
Yeah, I think so.
Half-back flank.
Half-back flank,
ball's kicked in from the back pocket, and up he goes. We'll have a look at it.
Let's have a look.
Tastes so good. The Ballarat Leagues Club has it all. Whether it's a fantastic meal in our bistro, a catch-up over coffee and cake in front of the open fire, or just a drink with friends in the sports bar. Proudly supporting the local Ballarat Football and Netball League, every visit to the BLC helps give back to the community. With fantastic theme nights every night of the week, BLC is the place to be. The Ballarat Leagues Club Bistro.
Not a bad one there, Sean. Probably not up there with these other better ones from this year, but still a contender.
We'd probably rate him harshly again because we're rating everything against that mark he took against Darley, which was an absolute special. So, really good mark, but on Luke's standards, 6 out of 10.
Yep, no, that's fair. You're a hard man.
I am.
Hey, Shawnee, we'll have a look at the netball action from last weekend. Ballarat 34 had a win, which is good to see. Defeated Melton South 31. Darley 27 were defeated by East Point 38. East Point going very well at the moment. North City 39 defeated Melton 34. Redan 25 were defeated by Lake Wendouree 37. I reckon Lake Wendouree, Shorty, you're just coming good at the right time of year, and I wouldn't want to come across them come finals time. So.
Yeah, they're the sleeping giants, and that win's actually probably set themselves up. They might end up finishing 5th on the ladder now. They're 6th at the moment, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But
no, they can't. They're still 6 points behind Redan.
Yeah, but Lake Wendouree have got Sebastopol this week in the bye, and Redan have got 2 top sides in the last 2 rounds, so there is a chance that they can finish in 5th.
Mate,
I reckon they can get there.
No walkovers.
They're not a walkover at all, but with the form that Lake Wendouree's in at the moment, I back them in to beat Sebastopol in a pretty good game this weekend.
Very good. Now, just touching the ladder, but North City on top on 60 points, East Point in second on 56, Sunbury in third on 54, Melton in fourth on 52, Redan in 5th on 38, and Lake Wendouree in 6th on 32. Outside the 60s, Darley on 24, Sebastian, Bacchus Marsh, Melton South and Ballarat. So you think that the final 6 is probably set. Look, Darley is 8 points behind
Yeah.
Lake Windermere at this stage.
It's locked in. It's just the positions that will change, and just about every position in that top 6 can change towards the end of the season. There's a big game this week, Sunbury taking on Redan, which Redan have had some injuries. They've been out of form a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but Sophie Gunn not playing for Sunbury this week, who was an absolute star in their goal arc, could make for a different result. And we know that Melton, they were in second spot going into last week. They lost by 5 points in a game where they got basically swamped in the second half. They've dropped to 4th because of that. So those top 4 sides on the ladder could very well shift and change throughout the next 2 weeks.
Shawnee, just moving on to this weekend's games, mate. Another big weekend of action, mate. It's hard to believe, only 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, I know. How time flies when you're having fun.
Ballarat take on North City Delford. Big game for Ballarat here. If they want to make the most of getting into the finals, they need to be able to be competitive against the better sides. Good opportunity against North City this weekend.
Really good opportunity. As we know, Ballarat, they've only beaten Darley above them this year. They need to get another scalp going into finals, and surprisingly, I think they're half a chance this week. North City are back up and about. They got the win last week. They got their confidence back. Heavy track at Alfredton, though. The Swans love playing at home. North City have never beaten Ballarat at Alfredton. Did you know that?
Never. I didn't know that.
Never, ever beaten them there.
No.
This weekend will be the first time, I reckon, but I reckon Ballarat are really going to make them work for it.
Baker Smash take on Melton South at Baddeley Park on Saturday. You probably think Baker Smash at home would be too strong here?
Yeah, you'd think so. Look, Melton South will be missing a couple of players. Dougie Thomas and Anthony Cristofaro not playing this week, which will make a bit of a difference for them. On paper, you'd probably say that Melton South would have the better side, but Bacchus Marsh at home, they've been pretty good in the last few weeks. Obviously, they faced a bit of a speed bump at Sunbury a couple of weeks ago, but if they get their game style going well and going early, I reckon Bacchus Marsh are a real chance in this one.
Lake Windermere taking on Sebastopol. It's Lake Winderere's last game for the year. They've got a bye in round 18, so they'd be hoping to come and finish the year with a really good win. I think they've shown improvement in the second half of the year. Lake Windermere, a very young side. I've been impressed with their wins, but I've been very impressed with the way they've played against the better sides.
Yeah.
I think their performance against Sunbury when they led by a couple of goals in the last quarter, and their performance against North City the week before when they only lost by 3 or 4 goals.
Even last week, they were a couple of goals ahead of Redan at quarter time.
I think they've shown improvement, which is great to see. I think they'll be too strong for Sebastopol this weekend.
I think they will too, but having said that, it's a grand final for both sides this week. We know it's Lake Winderere's last game for the year, and Sebastopol will give themselves a chance in this one. They obviously know that Lakers aren't one of their top sides this year.
Wouldn't Sebastopol love to finish with a win?
They would love to get that win on the board before the season's out. So both teams will approach this one like a grand final. I just think Lakers will have too much, especially up forward for them this week.
Melton take on Darley.
Scott Carey back in the side for Lakers this week too.
Oh, you're back, are you, Scotty?
Back in the side this week.
Back in the side, yeah, right. Very good. Isn't that, what's he done, a bit of a side injury?
It's an old man's injury. I think a calf or something like that. He's getting old.
A heart-related calf injury.
Well, you said that, not me.
Mate, Melton taking on Darley. You think Darley would be too strong?
You would. Darley, obviously, a little bit to prove after... Well, not so much a little bit to prove after last week, but they want to get their confidence and get themselves on a roll going into finals. So you'd think that they would be too strong at Mackie Park this weekend.
And Sunbury taking on Redan. Massive game here.
Huge game.
Whoever wins this game, you think will finish second. Although there's still... there is still 3% to make up, so I'm not too sure what needs
3% if Redan win by 4 or 5 times, that 3% will take care of itself.
Yep.
I reckon, and Redan are a huge chance in this one. But having said that, Sunbury will get some names back this week. Paddy Karras will come back into the Sunbury side this week. I watched them in their last game against Bacchus Marsh, and it was the first time I'd seen a forward line with Ross Slight, Simon Clark and Jack Sullivan in it.
Yep.
And boy, it looked impressive.
Yeah.
You can get Paddy Karras back into that side. It frees up David Kovacevic to float forward as well to be another real target.
Yep.
Just got a feeling it'll be Sunbury at home this week, but don't write Redan off in this one because they're in good nick at the moment as well.
Shawnee, big weekend of footy and Appalachian coming up, mate. Where are you heading this weekend? Heading around to some grounds?
Yeah, might have a bit of a look around. Obviously, we've got our junior finals starting this week as well, so it's going to be very much all hands on deck across both days of the weekend, but you'll probably see me around about this weekend hitting up your sausage rolls at halftime.
Very good, mate. Thanks for joining us on the show once again, mate, and thanks for having me back. Appreciate it.
No, it's a pleasure, mate. You've covered yourself in glory once again.
Look forward to talking about some, obviously the last round coming up next week. Then we're into the final, so it's a massive few weeks. I think even for some of those sides down the lower half of the ladder, for them to win some games over the next couple of weeks is very important. I think to finish the season well for those sides is vitally important as those sides up the top half as well.
I agree, because it then gets some confidence going into the club into the pre-season. It then helps them for recruiting
Sure.
and everything like that, and helps them work up the ladder. So good luck to those sides. Obviously, that aren't playing finals and the season's finishing the next fortnight.
Yep.
Get out there and get amongst it.
Yep, thanks so much for joining us on the BFL Footy Show for another week. Proudly supported by McDonald's Ballarat and also Ballarat Toyota. For now, it's goodbye. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you next week. All the best.
This week in the Red Onion Creative Ballarat Football League. The Red Onion Creative Ballarat Football League. Brought to you by Red Onion Creative, McDonald's, the Win Network, and these sponsors.